Hey everybody. So you guys have taken the quiz on the video that we were supposed to watch, how to revise the rough draft. Today I am going to be talking to you about graphic novels, and we are actually going to start reading a graphic novel today. So we're going to read The Metamorphosis, and we're going to be reading section 1 of it, which you guys have. It's in Canvas. So again, you guys have the graphic novel in PDF form on Canvas, which I will show you in a little bit. But just really quick, in the chat, what would my superhero name be? And you can take shots if need be. Tack the baldness. That's fine. I see how it is, but um, oh, we could do better than that. Come on, let's be a little creative here. So graphic novels are basically a collection, and I'll discuss this in the next slide too, but they're usually a collection of different comics. So they can be a standalone novel, or they can be a collection of different issues. So it's like it says there, it's like comics for a slightly more mature audience. So you want to make sure that they can be very mature and like more like adult level. So it just depends on make mind. That's good. It depends on which ones you get, but there's a lot of cool ones. So graphic novels, like I said, it can be a collection of several issues. So a lot of like comics, like superhero comics, they get released one issue at a time. Then like maybe after like a story arc is done, which is like when a whole storyline is completely finished, they'll take all the issues and combine it into one graphic novel. Other ones, like if you look here, Watchmen, Mouse, which we actually have at the school, actually was one of the things that I'm planning on teaching next spring, hopefully. Mouse is about the author of it. He's a comic strip writer, and his father was he was in the concentration camps. He was a prisoner in the concentration camps, so he's writing about his father's experience. So hopefully, we will get to this graphic novel when we can. Walking Dead is one of the ones where like there's a lot of different issues, and then they combine them into like one volume. Um, this is the one I was referring to, Neil Gaiman, the Sandman. He's the one where I'm listening to the Norse mythology. He's very into mythology, so he likes to combine like different like gods and stuff like that. In fact, in Norse mythology, he said he wrote that book because he was a fan of Thor, the comic book series Thor, and he wanted to learn more about Thor and like the real stories behind him. So that was pretty cool. This one is called Superman Red Sun, and I actually have this one too. It's basically like a what if story. Like, what if Superman had been raised in Soviet communist Russia as opposed to America? So it was very interesting take on Superman. Um, but again, they could be a standalone story. They can be part of a series, or they could just be a random story that's not related to any series. They could range from superheroes, zombies, obviously with Walking Dead, teenage angst. There's some like more adult like um, graphic novels that I've read where it's like about like high schoolers who are dealing with like their sexuality and stuff like that. So there's a lot of interesting graphic novels out there, and I definitely encourage you guys to like, if maybe you're not like into reading books yet, maybe you want to get into reading books but you're not quite there. Graphic novels are definitely a good bridge to do that. So things to think about when reading graphic novels, the detail matters because everything is intentional. They like things didn't accidentally fall onto a page, right? I mean, the same goes in a book too, because nobody accidentally like writes a word. But with comics, it's like doubly so, because not only are they thinking about like the words that are written, they're also thinking about the images, where they're located, and all that. So everything was done with a reason. Pay attention to how they want you to read it. You'll see in the story that we're going to be reading, there's times where like you have to like kind of like crane your neck to like read everything right. So you want to make sure that are they making it easy for you to read? Is there like a lot of text? Is there like big text? So it just depends on how they put it in there. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to how they wrote the words, and like where is everything located. Is it easy to read? Is it difficult? What do you think the reason is behind that? So I'm not sure. Are you talking about V for Vendetta, Ryan? because that's an excellent graphic novel. So if that's that V for Vendetta is amazing. So if you haven't read that, I encourage you to read it. Also a good movie too. But things to think about when reading graphic novels. Are there a lot of panels? And panels again are like the little frames where the like picture is, you know. So, this could be done for emphasis. Like if there's a lot of panels, maybe it's because there's like they're wanting to like capture the motion of like the action in the scene. Like they want like have a lot of panels where it like shows them running. If there's just one big panel, you know, maybe it's because there's like a dramatic event that happened on it. So again, pay attention to that. That's one thing that you could describe when talking about graphic novels is how many panels there are. And then again, the art and dialogue work together in the story. Whereas in a traditional book, you only have the words. The art and the dialogue work together. So you have to not only pay attention to the words, you also have to pay attention to the art there too. And it's one of those things where it's like, well, duh, but a lot of times people tend to focus on one or the other. So you can't just focus on the art and you just can't focus on the words. You have to focus on them, how they work together to create a message. So it's important to make sure that when you are doing that, you're talking about that. So you probably recognize this image from last week when we watched the Meet Franz Kafka video. So this is Gregor Samsa. He is going to be the main character of the graphic novel we are reading. He will look very different in the graphic novel version than this like cartoon version from Shmoop. But the Metamorphosis is actually a book that was written by Franz Kafka. You are reading the graphic novel version of it, which was adapted by Peter Kruper. And it's about how a man turning into a bug tells us about life, money, and the true meaning of family. If you are very pessimistic about family, which if you guys watch the video, you know that he didn't have the greatest relationship with his father or family. So that's something that we will be considering when we read this. So today I'm gonna move myself over there. You're gonna read section 1 of the Metamorphosis. You will then you're gonna do the Metamorphosis section 1 discussion. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch screens so that I can talk to you about what you are going to be doing. So let me go to modules real quick. Scrolling down, waiting for everything to load. Okay, so week 12, which apparently is what we're in now. All right, so you guys already did the rough draft video quiz. Read section 1 of the Metamorphosis. That's just the points that you're going to get from participating in class today. If you look at resources, again, here's the slides, which are always at the top. And then this is the graphic novel Metamorphosis. But if you also click here in Metamorphosis section 1 discussion, this is where you're going to be actually replying. So again, the resources has a story, and then this is where you're going to reply. So after you've read section 1 of the Metamorphosis, you're going to do your initial reply today. And then tomorrow, and I know, or it can be later tonight, but basically by tomorrow night, you need to have a response. So before you guys leave, your initial reply has to be done. And then your only homework, other than the final draft, if you have not finished it, because the final draft is due tonight for 50 points. So you got to make sure that gets completed. And I'll send you a remind message later today to remind you about your final draft being due tonight. But the initial reply is going to be due in class after you're done reading. And then after that, you need to choose one person. And I kind of changed it because I noticed a lot of people getting responses. Like one person would have like 8 responses. So choose one person that doesn't have a response, and then choose a different reason, and who also chose a different reason than you. Explain why you think your reason is better than their reason. And the reason what you're going to be talking about is that, here it talks about, let's assume that basically he turns into a bug, like I already said. So you're going to be making an argument on that he did turn into a bug. So, or that he some metaphor about his life. If his life make him feel like a bug or less than human. So again, he does turn into a bug in the story, but I want you to write about how it could be metaphorical about his life. How could it be representative of how Gregor Samsa feels? So you need to find evidence. So you're going to give one reason that he feels like he is inhuman. You will tell the reason, use a screenshot from the graphic novel as your evidence, and then explain in 2 to 3 good sentences to why and how this screenshot proves that he feels inhuman. Okay, so first you're going to read. Once you're done reading, you are going to find one part in what you've read that is going to be proof that he feels inhuman because of like blank reason, and you're going to take a screenshot and explain why and how this screenshot proves that he feels inhuman. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the